Good evening, everyone. First of all, welcome to ISA University for our third day of this academic week. We commenced on Monday, ending this wonderful week on Saturday, in which all our students across all our departments, we have the opportunity to learn a range of different learning objectives and conferences. Today, we do have a very special topic for you all, and we hope you like it. Good evening, our academic director, Ms. Giselle Ballesteros de Franco, our subject leader of the English department, Doris Castillo. Dear teachers and students, welcome for this third day of this academic week. To have a nice opening, I would like to start this off welcoming our estudiantina, a group of students who are currently studying at the university, and they're going to be performing for us. Please put your hands together for them.
Buenas noches a todos. Muchas gracias por la invitación. Esta es la estudiantina ISAE de ISAE Universidad. Agradecemos la invitación y la presencia de todos ustedes aquí. Rapidito, para no alargarnos mucho, como ustedes pueden ver, muchos estudiantes tienen capas, otros no tienen. Los estudiantes que no tienen capas son los que están iniciando en la agrupación y los que tienen capas son los que van un poquito más avanzados. Y lo que utilizamos, la beca esta que está aquí, ya más trayectoria, somos los tunos, lo que se conocen normalmente como tunos. Entonces esta tradición la hemos traído aquí a la ISAE gracias a la rectoría y a la dirección de cultura, y le damos gracias por esta invitación. Vamos a interpretar un tema, un tamborito panameño que se llama El tambor de la alegría, y lo vamos a unir con Viva Panamá. Esperemos que lo disfruten.
¡Opatuna! ¡Opatuna! Panameño, 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 vida mía, yo quiero que tú me lleves al tambor de la alegría. Panameño, 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 vida mía, yo quiero que tú me lleves al tambor de la alegría. vida mía. Yo quiero que tú me lleves al tambor de la alegría. Viva, viva Panamá y ahora, viva Panamá, que viva, 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 viva Panamá y ahora, viva Panamá, que viva, viva Panamá y ahora, viva Panamá, que viva, 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 viva Panamá y ahora, viva Panamá.
Lo más bonito del mundo nadie lo puede negar. La pollera, el tamborito y el canal de Panamá.
Lo más bonito del mundo nadie lo puede negar. La pollera, el tamborito y el canal de Panamá. Que viva, viva Panamá y ahora, viva Panamá y que viva, 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 viva Panamá y ahora, viva
Panamá. Cuando se muera mi suegra, que la entierren boca abajo. Por si se quiera salir, que se vaya y va para abajo.
Cuando se muera mi suegra, que la entierren boca abajo. Por si se quiera salir, que se vaya más para abajo. Y que viva, viva Panamá y ahora, viva Panamá. Y que viva, 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 viva Panamá y ahora, viva Panamá. Y que viva, viva Panamá y ahora, viva Panamá. Y que viva, 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 viva Panamá y ahora, viva Panamá.
What a great performance, isn't it? So we're very happy to have them here today, a group of students performing for us. That's outstanding. So to commence with this activity, I would like to invite our academic director, Ms. Giselle Ballesteros, who would like to address you all. Please welcome our academic director.
Muy buenas noches, estudiantes, docentes, coordinadores de carrera, profesor José Luis Arjona, que en este día de hoy nos acompaña como maestro de ceremonia, directora de Extensión y Proyección Social, que nos acompaña también esta noche, público en general, personas que nos ven a través de nuestras redes sociales. Es para mí un honor dar inicio a este tercer día de nuestra semana académica. Una semana académica pensada por y para nuestros estudiantes, nuestros docentes, administrativos y todo el personal de ISAA Universidad. Una semana en donde ponemos de manifiesto muchísimos temas que muchas veces no podemos cubrir dentro del aula de clase, pero que siempre son necesarios y relevantes en nuestra formación académica y profesional. Los invito a que el tema que vamos a ver a continuación sea un tema que nos permita ver un poco más allá de lo que tenemos en nuestras carreras profesionales. Cada uno de los días de esta semana académica se han dado temas que son relevantes y son de importancia, una semana académica muy nutrida y que hemos pensado para los estudiantes. Realmente la academia no es academia sin nuestros queridos estudiantes, siempre pensando en ese acervo cultural en diferentes temas, en esa parte académica que hay que reforzar y, ¿por qué no también nuestra parte humana? Hemos hablado, tenemos diversos temas y entre ellos también esa formación humana que nos hace ser mejores y mayores profesionales en el día a día. Bienvenidos a este tercer día de semana académica y esperemos que todos los temas que vamos a ver en el día de hoy y los que están por venir en los días que restan sean de total agrado para ustedes y además que sean útiles en su formación profesional. Muchas gracias a todos.
Thanks to our academic director for addressing the audience tonight. Very inspiring words that we have. Our subject leader from the English department, Ms. Doris Castillo, would like to briefly also address you all. Please welcome our coordinator from the English department.
Good evening. Good evening. Thanks for coming. We always seek for our students' development skills that enhance their future professional life. Tonight, we will have the honor of meeting and learning from John Moreno Lopez about IE. Thank you.
Thanks to our English coordinator from ISAI. Indeed, today is a very important day for us, as I know we have students from different departments, and it's a great opportunity to practice your English tonight. There's a skill that needs to be developed, and I'm quite sure throughout this conference, you will get all the insights, experience, and expertise from our speaker that deserves the full attention from us all. So tonight, we have John Moreno Lopez, who has a lot of experience in business administration, in marketing. He has worked hard for different companies, also embracing artificial intelligence, AI, in education. I'm quite sure today we're going to acquire a bit more of knowledge from him. He is currently living in Canada. That's the reason why this conference is online. And for those who are joining us through YouTube, this conference is being broadcasted. Without any further ado, Mr. Lopez, you have a beautiful and fantastic audience waiting for you. The stage is yours. Please take it away. Please welcome, guys, a big round of applause to Canada from our speaker, Mr. John.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you to Doris for inviting me to this great space for us to discuss forward thinking about education, AI, and how we could implement this in our everyday work experience. So we will have a wonderful time today. We're going to discuss a little bit of how AI is being portrayed in the sense of in the context of education, right? But let me just briefly present myself. My name is John. I've been working in marketing and business for about 10 years now, and education has been a passion of mine. I have been a teacher also for marketing and digital marketing for different universities, and I'm so happy to be here. All right, so let's get into it. So what's the future for education with AI? And I know that many of you are in your formation phase where you're getting ready to be an educator, a teacher, and you're going to be responsible for the future of many of the students that are going to come your way. And you have a big obstacle in front of you. But good thing is that there is a decision to be made, and you are the ones to pave the road to get this AI and education within the classrooms, right? So what is happening? Fundamentally, AI is coming into this crossroads between what entails to introduce AI into the classroom, right? So there are two thought process. The first one is the obsolescence of traditional learning, right? Like maybe the way we're teaching may not be the reality for the next 10 years. Or we could also choose to enhance the human potential, right? So AI give us this great opportunity just to make the experience of using this tool to amplify the unique human capabilities. So how are we going to explore this? I always like to think about this as the crossroad of education. You will feel that there are two lines of thought here. So there is a dark path and there is a bright path, And our choice is right in between both of them. So I'm going to take a little bit of time to explain both of them. So the dark path is that thought process where AI replace everything, right? Like AI is just gonna take over the world. We're gonna get we're gonna get transformers moving on and just taking over the education and humans as a whole, as a society, right? That's that really dark future. But then there's this bright space where we think about AI as a way for us to enhance ourselves, to develop higher order skills, skills that may not necessarily are in our reach right now because of the restrictions of the human mind. But with AI, we will have that possibility, right? So we have these two things that are going on, and there's an active debate, right? And that's where you come in, is actually being present in that debate, being part of it will allow you to make a choice, right? Whether you want that AI dark future where humans are getting replaced and the critical thinking, creativity, and human connections is getting replaced by AI, or is that bright future that it just hone our skills in a better, more high level, right? So it all depends on you and how we integrate AI into the education. So my whole this whole space is just going to be an exploration of the bright path, right? The dark path, we have people that are really making movies about it. So we have talked about it a lot. But let's talk about a little bit about this bright path. Like what are the challenges that you have in front of you? So I want to make this parallel where the first time that in society we have the calculator, right? So the calculator was this huge paradigm shift for the mathematics department. There was the first thing, and you will see the resemblance of what is going on right now with AI and the calculator. Funny enough, the first time that we're seeing this is there's a huge resistance on from the mathematics department of not allowing calculator in the classrooms. There were even protests, like teachers went to the streets and claimed that the calculator will be the end of the education as we know it. Then it goes back into acceptance, and is that possibility of the calculator being that tool that became the standard tool for mathematics education, right? Like now we have calculators everywhere, but at that time it was a rare occurrence that you see a calculator within a classroom environment. Now, when the calculator did made it and it was accepted as a tool, then necessity just said it, right? Like now there is not a thought of learning mathematics without a calculator right next to you, but it also took the overall expansion of the mathematics to a next level. Now there were so many other opportunities to do with mathematics because we cannot just automate these basic calculations that were taking so much time to do, right? Why I bring this on? Because this is exactly what's happening with AI in education. What teachers are falling in is the shaming of students because they use AI. I'm really against that, right? Because AI just became this trend that took over many parts of the world. And one of the things that their students are doing is they're taking these tools to facilitate their education process, right? But then you're seeing in social media some teachers that are completely against it, does not adopt, and they're making this resistance happening, right? So what are we going to do about it? And that's where the next the new role of a teacher, of an educator, is going to come in. It's just going to fall in this four bucket, right? The new formal teacher is going to be a guy. It's going to be a person that help the students navigate the enhanced spaces of AI within the classroom, right? So what's going to happen is that you will see that there are so many tools available right now that will make the education process a lot easier, faster, more efficient. But then the teacher needs to become this designer, and that's where the opportunity is, right? When you think about it, you are the ones to respond that call, or how this new environment of the classroom will be seeing when AI is integrated, right? Like, how are we using AI to develop the human skill? How can we develop that skill faster and more effectively so that people will take a lot more value out of it? And then there's this part of the evaluation process that the traditional system has always been, uh, is what teachers right now are trying to defend, right? Like, they want to defend that the way we evaluate students, right, through the memorization of pieces, through all the skills that needs to be checked. But as this new era set in, the evaluation process is just going to be focused on the outcome itself, whether or not the student grasps the skills, took the skills, applied the skills, and were able to move forward in the education path, right? So that evaluation role is going to take a big hit. And it's just going to be based on how the students apply that skills or not, how that student are memorizing all the different theories about subject matter, right? And then here's the biggest role that this new teacher is going to take. Is going to take a role of a mentor. And at the beginning, it was really interesting to hear the human aspect of the education within the school and how important that is. Because as this new role kind of sets in, fostering human connection is the only thing that AI cannot replicate. Is the human emotion, is the aspect of critical thinking, ethical reasoning, and the opportunity for us to connect on a higher level, from the emotional intelligence, from the respect of others, and how we empathize within the classroom so that these human skills are empowered through the teacher itself. AI cannot and will not, for many years come, be able to replicate human emotion. And that's where you guys come in. Creating that environment, we also set some responsibilities for our students. And why I bring this is because this is one of those things that you need to communicate effectively. Students need to develop their creativity, they need to cultivate empathy, and they need to practice ethical reasoning. These three aspects are critical for us to really make an impact on the social level. And these three aspects are the ones that we're lacking the most in the classroom. And here's where we were seeing the biggest and the biggest impact of students not necessarily being able to be part of a society, going out and realize that their skills to make connection with humans, they're lacking. And this is not necessarily something that is being on the works for a couple years. This is being on the works since the start of social media, and how these tools has a, instead of enhancing our connection, is driving us apart, right? So we're seeing more students being isolated, being depressed, and not necessarily knowing how to engage with a human person, and always has to be a scream in between that relationship. So this is where the student responsibility becomes this huge opportunity for us to enhance that human connection and develop that creativity, cultivating that empathy, and really understand what are the ethical aspects, and how the good, the bad, and how the human will adopt this AI in the most positive, bright space. All right, so that's the theory, right? Like, until then, I'm just telling you how the classroom is being impacted, what are those elements that are going to be disrupted, and then how students are going to make that shift, and how we are in that phase. When we go back to the calculator, we are in that phase of resistance, right? So we in the higher education, we're seeing that huge resistance of not necessarily adopting AI for now, not necessarily wanted to adopt it and just want to stay in that same level that everything else. This has turned out into students being punished. eh, and this is where institution needs to be in the front row of changing policies, making sure that they're responding to all these new different spaces where not there weren't necessarily answers for, and we need to give them answers, right? So how do we look about implementing? How do we go about implementing in the practical level AI? So I have three suggestions that you need to explore while you're working in your profession. The first thing is identified AI involvement. You need to expect from now on, when you go into a classroom, that AI is going to be part of the learning process, either intentionally or intentionally. Like you have to know that that is happening. Students are using AI all the time, and that is not necessarily something that is going to be an option. It's just a requirement. Then, if you acknowledge that and you understand that there is an involvement of AI, the next thing is to integrate AI integrate AI into the classroom immediately, right? So build those AI tools into the curriculum on purpose, with intention, right? So that you know and the students will understand that they are allowed to use AI, but there are things that they need to take care of. There are basic knowledge that needs to be taken care of. AI is not the smartest tool on the bucket, right? So AI is as smart as how you ask and how you prompt it and how much knowledge do you have of a subject matter. If you are if you are a person that just starting in a road of education and you start using AI, you will see that your answers and the answers that it is given, they are lacking. They're generic. They're not necessarily something that you will present to your professor. And even on the higher level education, that one of the biggest concern is that people are forgetting how to write, how to read, and all those elements are necessary to use AI, right? So we need to integrate that with intention and the purpose so that it serve it serve a purpose within the skill that you need to build. Second, and the last step is pushing the boundaries, right? Like now with AI as a tool, you have to be able to challenge students beyond what was expected of them, because now they have it. So the problems that they can solve are a lot higher and a lot stronger. So you need to be able to understand that those problems are now in the hands of the students that are using AI. So those are some three practical tips that you have to that you really could use in your classroom right now. So this is kind of the synergistic future of AI. Is how do we join the capabilities of AI with the human strength, right? How do we get these two to work together, not against each other, or not replacing one or the other, right? So we know that AI has really great opportunities in routine task automation, information retrieval, basic analysis of data, and personalized learning paths. So we do have that in our capabilities of AI. So as a teacher, you need to know that the fact that you have that tool available for you, it allows you to do so much more for the students. Now it's not a matter of, oh, I can't have personalized interactions with my students because there are too many of them, right? But now if you use AI and you get all this information into a space that AI can help you process, then it will be just a matter of seconds to build a personalized program just for that specific students to respond to the necessities and their challenges and their abilities to build better skills, right? So one of the biggest challenges on education is that we are not able to personalize each student path. Now with AI, there is a possibility for that, right? But what about the human strengths? What are the things that AI can do for us? Innovation, creativity, right? Ethical reasoning, what's good, what's bad, at what moment. How do we engage on emotional intelligence, the interpretation of connection? And that's where the power of that's where the human power lays on, is creating and fostering those connections with humans, so that we don't lose that element that make us human. And then we don't have to replace a human with AI. We just need to make them work together. So focusing on what it means, focusing on unique human skills. So the critical thinking is one of those things that have been in the classroom, has been lost, right? So we are so focused on getting people to remember things, right? That we forget that there is an interpretation, an individual form of judgment on those things that they need to remember, right? So just saying facts or just sticking to theory will not allow the critical thinking aspect of our mind to develop. But if we make an effort for that knowledge to be thought from the independent judgment of each student, then that will allow the students to be more upfront about what they want, how they want it, and how the source of information make them feel, right? Which foster creativity, which foster collaboration, which foster empathy. These are the four unique human skills that right now are the most needed in the overall education space. And usually this happens is in the university, right? In higher education, you learn how to collaborate with other people, you learn how to create and figure out difficult problems. Now those problems, those challenges are going to be on you, right? How do we place the challenges on students so that students with a tool will help you get the results that they want? So here's what to do next, right? And here's the task where you start building for the education industry. Is for educators, is designing those AI enabled work, right? Like how is this new reality going to play out? Not against it. And this is a huge problem that you will see in some of higher education, like traditional big higher education, is that sometimes they just want to push back. And when you have a technology that just honing on when you have a technology that has so much acceptance as an AI, pushing back will take you into dark places, places of conflict, places where you are going to be unjust with students, and you're not going to help them achieve the greater skills that they are capable of, right? So creating that learning experience and leveraging AI potential is going to be key for you. For students, is just being able to embrace AI, not as a way to replace the human capability, but as a way to develop a distinct and more amplified skills for the human and the natural strengths of humans, right? So what you want as a student is be responsible that you're using AI because you want that next level education. You want to be honing in more your skills rather than being replaced by the skills of an AI. So funny story, and this is a real case. In a university in the U.S., there was a teacher that was tricking the students, right? Like it just make a tricky test, and the test have the whole answer for the test, and the whole answer was at the end of the assignment, right? So if you read it, you will see that the answers were at the bottom. But a lot of students did not take the time or the responsibility to read the assignment. They just put it on ChatGPT. ChatGPT just responded, and then you have this really bad response to questions that you already had the answer for, right? So they got caught. You got 35 students getting caught using ChatGPT to respond an assignment. The lady was furious. It was so mad. She was screaming and saying that this wasn't fair for her and just claiming and shaming the students for doing that, right? So the question then is it will rely on, was it the teacher's fault? Was it the student's fault? Who was the fault, right? But at the end of the day, everybody lost, right? So the teacher was mad and had to fail a bunch of students. The students did not learn what they're supposed to be learning. And that talks about, and that will kind of fall into the institutions and what the institution needs to do to actually put clear rules about the using of AI within the classroom and the limitations or the possibilities, right? And that's where higher education needs to do a lot of policy, reflect on technology reality, and then support innovation of teacher approaches that will support this AI new world. So this is the reality. Balancing humans and machine intelligence will give us 100% of human potential, twice the learning effectivity, and the creative possibilities are going to be infinite, right? If we know how to merge these two, so like I said at the beginning, there is a dark path and there's this bright path. There is, and then there is the balance path, right? Like there is the one that just come together within the use of AI with the human capabilities and just augmenting the human potential with the AI tools. And finally, I want to leave with this quote from John Dewey, which is a pioneer American educator and philosopher. He said, education is not a preparation for life. Education is life itself. It's not about learning or educating on a classroom. Is you have to live in this process of education all the time. So embracing this future means that as a teacher, you need to embrace the education of new technologies, the adoption of these new technologies, and helping navigating this transformation path that we have in front of us that is going to amplify our humanity, but it will not replace it. And I want to make that completely clear. AI is not going to replace the human. Human and AI should work together to make a better and more human world. And with that, thank you for the time, and we could open the forum for a couple of questions.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez, for your outstanding conference. I mean, from start to end, you sold it to us and we bought it. It was great to learn from you and a very eye-opening information for everyone. He is ready for a Q&A session. If you would like to ask some questions, he's more than happy to answer that. So please raise your hand and just go for it. We have one question over here. Perfect. So do we have a mic? Yeah, perfect. Mr. Lopez, we do have a question here. I'm going to provide a mic to the student, and he's ready to ask a question. All right?
Hello, good evening. My name is Martin. I'm from the Tourist Licenciatura. I'm for second year. So I want to say thank you to have this presentation in Panama. You need to visit our country soon. And I want to ask, basic on your presentation, what I learned is AI could be a danger in the future for humans. These are making some human lazy that everything has to go look for this type of intelligent and not using the brain. So what is your opinion about this?
Great question. And this laziness argument is not necessarily something that is being caused by AI, but it's just the overall landscape of social media and the distraction economy more or less, right? So laziness and procrastination has been a problem for years now, and one of the biggest culprit of that is social media, the distraction economy, all the time, multiple things hitting you at the same time. So how do we not make that problem a lot bigger? And that's where they making the problems bigger, right? So making the challenges for students bigger. Don't stick with just read the assignment and respond. Try to solve problems that are going to be challenging to solve, because it takes a creative mind to approach a problem that is hard to solve. It doesn't matter how big the tool is. AI is not going to help you respond difficult questions that you don't even know how to ask the AI to solve, right? So that's where involving the students within the perception of AI is a tool that you have to use to be able to get this challenge solved, and allow them to use it in a productive way. Let me give you an example, right? So I know that we have a lot of English teachers or upcoming English teachers here. One of the biggest use of AI for English education is the practice, right? So AI has this huge capability of talking back to you, right, and helping you uh, honing on your pronunciation, on your mistakes, on your sentence structure, on taking more practice than you will just because you study 1 or 2 hours a week, right? So if you include AI into the practice at home, and then you make assignments for that practice to be intentionally, to be difficult, and to be challenging to the students will be more than happy to be able to do that assignment with AI, right? But if you take the stand of, oh, you're using AI, hence you're lazy, then that's the negative approach for it. You should make the problem challenges and the challenges harder, so that AI is a capable tool that you need to use, and not try to solve the simple problems that you're not right now solving. Let me give you a last example. I will close with this. There's this person that I follow in social media, great reader. He reads 100 books a day. I'm sorry, a year, and he enjoyed the reading. But lately, he has been reading less. And you know what changed? Not AI, is the whole social media aspect of it, the distraction economy. There is something to look, something to hit your dopamine, and then you will always be distracted, and then you don't have time to actually sit down and read, because you're always distracted, right? So if you take that distraction, but he said that he read 100 books a year. Right now, he's going up to 300 books. But you know what's his secret? He's using AI to read faster and absorb knowledge faster. So now it's not about the sitting down and reading, it's I'm reading more books because I have AI. So I haven't stopped reading. I just stopped the time and the enjoyment of sitting down under a hot blanket and start like reading. So that would be my thought process. It's not that it's gonna make you lazy. It's all depend on the responsibility that you take on making AI an enhancement of human capabilities, not a distraction.
Thank you for that. Do we have more questions from the audience? Not all at once, please. Okay, we have one more question over here.
Hello. Thank you for the opportunity and for your knowledge to share. Yeah, my question is regarding to what's the trend of the acceptance of institutions about the policy that you mentioned in your, I mean, what is the trend for now in globally? I'm saying globally because this is something that is here now. but institutions have policies that probably, even though in first world countries, they still are resilient to accept the use of AI in the institutions and in the assignments. So I would love to know what is the trend for now in this industry. Thank you.
Yes, great question. And I think I mentioned that in the calculator parallel. Right now we're in the not accepting AI. So there's a lot of shaming for students. There's a lot of friction of policies. There's not necessarily, and be mindful that higher education is not an industry that moves fast. So it is an industry that moves really slow. And in some cases that's good, right? Because scientific investigation, research, and all that is not necessarily something that takes a couple months, takes years, right? And higher education, like for example, in like the biggest universities right now, what they're doing is they're revising policies, right? Like they're drafting those new rules to the use of AI. Right now, nobody knows what's the right or wrong answer. It's moving so fast that not even us know what's the right and the wrong answer. But I think that's where the opportunity lays, is the opportunity for us to make that future happen. Right now, we're in the middle of this transition that goes between the advancing of technology, but also the adoption of that technology within spaces that are not necessarily prepared to adopt that, right? So, what's the trend? There's friction. There is friction. There is unknowns. There is a lot of people trying to come up with an answer, and that's kind of the calculator parallel. This is the friction part, not accepted. So teachers are not necessarily taking this lightly or taking it in a positive way. Some of them are, right. Some of them realize that AI is going to take the education of future to next step, and I'm building the tools that are required to really use AI. So there are a lot of tools right now that are being used to score papers, right? So not only checking for plagiarism, but also checking for AI created content. Uh, then AI became more intelligent, and then those tools became obsolete in one day to another. So now you can't caught AI, then they have to build different tools, but it's always from the punishment side of it, right? So I'm building tools to get you, right? I want to get you because you're using AI and that's wrong. You shouldn't be using AI. So that's kind of the trend right now. What needs to happen, and I think this is kind of the auto realization and the good to have this discussion is having this discussion allow you to understand first the opportunity that you have in your hands, because if you as a teacher become pioneer helping people learn faster English, like for example for the English students, um, that would be a great tool, right? Like this is education is painful. It's for the students, for the teacher, it's painful. Now we have this tool that make it a little bit less painful, but we are reluctant to use it because we think it's cheating, or we think that it's not necessarily using our capabilities in the fullest. So I think the trend is still on not accepting AI, but I think that will change quickly. I think this discussion is going to help, but also tools are being built right now for higher education. So for helping writing programs for students individually, for helping teachers to make lessons more entertaining or more engaging, and to use AI as an aid for the teacher, right? So you are delegating some of that follow up that the teacher does to AI to help you cope with the amount of students that you have. So that's coming, but I think that will take a little bit of time.
Thank you for that. Do you have any other questions in our audience? I do have one, if you allow me to ask you one, Mr. John.
Yeah, definitely.
Perfect. You know that there are some teachers that they might be tough cookies. Sometimes they are not really flexible in terms of different aspects in education, right? During your presentation, and it's resonating in my mind right now, you spoke about that AI will not replace teachers because it's only about making connections, creating bonds with students and so forth. But in your presentation, it was interesting that you had a power skill called empathy. Why is empathy excelling the most?
Yes, that's a great question and good call. You see, empathy is one of those things that are not necessarily being taught in school, right? And this is the place where this is getting built is in the workplace, right? When you start realizing that your actions could affect positive or negative to individuals, and be able, and this in the corporate world, you will hear this saying, oh, you have to be emotionally intelligent, you have to be capable of reading the room and understanding where your boss is, where your coworkers are, right? And empathy will become this key skill for human race to keep us together. And I will bring it up because, funny enough, sometimes it's hard for us to think ourselves other than individuals and not put ourselves in the shoes of others. It's becoming this rare skill that a few have. But when we take AI and we take all the hard work of running a classroom, and then we focus on the emotional aspect and the connection that we have, and we create this environment where students can connect with each other. Because think about it, right? When you go to a traditional classroom, everybody's quiet, everybody's waiting for the teacher to give their knowledge, and everybody's not engaging with the teacher nor engaging with their students. And all that engagement happens after the classroom, just because all the teaching is happening in that place. If we replace that zero engagement, and this is kind of falling into the theories of education in New Zealand, in Switzerland, where they are like in the front of having the students be more emotionally engaged during the classroom and having this emotion being built within the classrooms. We're seeing this society making so much progress from the economic aspect, from the ideas that they come up with, from the social lifestyle. So empathy becomes this skill that for us, and I'll include myself there because I come from Colombia, so I understand being part of this community, that traditional education does not necessarily value this type of collaboration, empathy skills. But with AI, those are the skills that we're going to need to be able to move forward. Because if we don't work together, if we don't empathize, if we don't know how to collaborate to solve these big problems, then AI will replace us because it's the human element that they cannot replace. And that's what we need to start teaching in our classrooms.
Thank you. Very well thought out. Do you have any other questions? Perfect. We would like to congratulate Mr. John Moreno Lopez for this outstanding conference on this third day of our academic week that our leaders have prepared for us. And this is quality, and it's very important as this world is moving rapidly. So to have these skills is a number one factor we all need to consider as our students are really in this new generation. We also need to be adapted to that. He explained that very well as well. Thank you, Mr. John, for your support, and very happy that you have taken some time, to be connected there from Canada. So please, a big round of applause to congratulate our speaker.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
For that, this is not all. Our authorities, Ms. Ballesteros and Castillo, would like to present a certificate of participation to speaker. We're going to send a detailed copy for you, but it's going to be also displayed on the board. So please, they're going to stand up and present the certificate. If Mario has it ready for us right now, so it's been displayed on the screen too. Let's wait for a couple of seconds. Yeah, we're going to have a detailed copy, Mr. John, that we're going to provide and send that certificate of participation to you. It's just a token of appreciation for your great performance. So please, let's keep posted, and thank you for your conference. We appreciate that on this academic week.
Thank you so much. Have a good night, and appreciate the space. And thank you for everybody to give me this space to talk about this. Thank you.
All right, take care. Thank you, guys.